Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to be doing a reverse teardown. So I've already torn this down, and what it is, it's a little thin client made by ViewSonic. And as you can see here, it's a really compact unit. And I have taken it all the way down to the motherboard because this is a unit that I'm preparing for somebody else, and I'm putting in a new CMOS battery, installing the memory back. I am changing the 160 gigabyte hard drive with a 32 gigabyte SSD, this guy. I also have these units with a regular size 32 gigabyte SSD, but for this build I'm going to be using this little guy. So let's start with that. So you can see here, the back side of the motherboard has the SATA slot as well as the Wi-Fi adapter. This has built-in Wi-Fi, believe it or not, and it has eSATA as well as two USB ports here, two USB ports in the back, DVI and VGA output. It also has gigabit Ethernet. So this is essentially a little netbook with some additions like the eSATA output right here. It also has the speaker out and microphone input in the front here, plus a couple of buttons here, and some indicator lights. So yeah, overall a really nice compact little motherboard. This is the chipset, I believe. This is the CPU, and I guess these two are the chipset. Let me see, is that the CPU? Let me see what it is. That's the Intel Atom 1.6 gigahertz with 512K of cache and a 533 megahertz front side bus. I don't want to take this off. This must be some kind of chipset. Let me see what this says here, if I can read that. Must be North Bridge, South Bridge. Then one of these has the video adapter. This must be the video card, like the chipset with the video card, so that it has an Intel GMA 950, I think this one has. So this must be handling all the I/O and everything on the board, and this has the video die on it. So yeah, plus the SATA controller and things like that. So this must have USB controllers and things like that. Maybe if I find the block diagram for this unit, I'll put it here, but I'm not 100% sure that I'll be able to do that. All right, so let's continue with the reverse teardown. I'm going to put in the SATA controller here. And what I like to, sorry, not the SATA controller, the SATA drive. And what I like to do with these guys is I like to put a little piece of tape on the connector, because I can't screw this one on. And I get a little piece of electrical tape, and I put it here to kind of hold this from coming apart from any vibration or anything. So kind of keeps it nice and neat in there, and there's plenty of separation between this and the motherboard. Alright, so now flipping over to this side, let me take this out of the way. I can put in the memory chip. This is a 1 gigabyte module. It does support 2 gigabytes, but that's what I'm going to do there. And then I have a brand new CMOS battery right here. I'm going to put this in here. That goes in there. Now that I'm done here, you know what? I messed up. I actually have to take this off, because before I put this on, I have to actually mount the heatsink on the other side. As you can see here, it's very laptop-like. It has this copper heatsink with a blower and some fins on the side here. And this goes on like this. So I want to make sure that it's aligned, and I plug this in here, and then I flip it over And this is why I couldn't put that drive in yet, because I have to screw in 4 screws. So I'm gonna go ahead. I have the screws off camera here. I like to actually start by from the middle out, something I learned while working in cars, putting the screws in from the inside out. That way there's lower risk of the metal on the other side kind of bulging out or something because of pressure. Like, you don't want it to be like that. You want the metal to kind of like seat correctly, evenly across like that. So it's usually a nice zigzag pattern from inside out that you want to do when you're actually putting back together screws, especially in cars when there's a mating surface. You want to make sure that it's evenly distributed. Obviously here it's not a big deal. This is just a very small piece of metal, but I still do that, sometimes subconsciously. I start here, then go there, then go here, then go there, and that way, as you tighten it, the metal plate on the bottom starts getting in contact like this outward. All right, so that's plugged in. That's plugged in. The fan is spinning. There's a new CMOS battery. As you can see here, to get to the CMOS battery, you have to take off the cooler. To get to the cooler, you have to take off the hard drive. So when you're building in some of these units, it's almost like a sandwich, taking apart a sandwich. You have to take off layers to get to the bottom layer. So now I can go back in here and put this back in there. All right, there you go. And I'm gonna get another piece of tape because the other tape is no longer any good. So I'm gonna get a little piece of tape. And if you're shipping something, this is a good idea to do on these connectors. If you cannot secure the unit like this, if this is not secured other than by pressure, this does have a lot of pressure in there, but the pressure is not enough to keep it from like getting jolted out. So I add a little piece of tape sometimes like this, electrical tape, because it tends to work well with higher temperatures, and that will hold it in there. So I just make sure that I don't have any air bubbles, and it'll hold it in as much as possible from like just coming loose during shipment or something like that. So here we are. Here's the little unit with the hard drive, and sometimes I like to power it up like this to make sure that it's working correctly and I can actually set it up like this. But in this case, we're just going to continue building it back together. So this unit comes in a little case like this, and it has the antenna built into a couple of little metal pieces. So I start off by mounting the connections here carefully, not to like break any. It kind of clicks in. There you go, that one clicked, and then this one clicks in on the other side. I don't know if you can see that really well. Let me see, I'm going to show you right here. It just clicks right there. There you go. And now can kind of set this up. It has some stands, if you can see here. Can set those up in there, and I can start putting it back together. So it has 4 screws that hold it in. Got this one right here. Can start right here on this side, and then the other side. Down there, 1, 2. Then I have one on this corner, and hopefully I don't drop it in there because it is a pain sometimes to get stuff out. And there you go. I gotta get a better magnetic tip. So let me see if I can just use this other screwdriver, which has a magnetic tip, to get it started. I don't think it's the right, actually it is the right size. So I'm gonna put this one on this side over here. There you go. All right, so here you see the unit properly set up. Not the unit, the motherboard properly set in there. And now this has another shield that goes on the top here with this cutout for the fan. So it slides underneath there. And it has 5 screws, 3 up here, 2 right here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that really quickly. Okay. Now another thing that I had to take off were these standoffs here for the S-video cable, and then I use a socket like this to put those in and out. You can see here, just screw those back in. That one's done. And this one's done. And now comes the other side. This is the top part of it. So you can see it has the cutout on the back for the I/O ports. Then this goes in here. It kind of slides in awkwardly because it's never... There you go. That's in there now. And 2 screws go in the back. The warranty if voided screw and the other regular and the other one on top. So I did void the warranty, unfortunately, from this 20-year-old thing. I don't think it's 20-year-old. I think it's more like 10 years old. And that's it. That's the reverse teardown of this beautiful little tiny ViewSonic netbook of sorts. It's got an Intel Atom CPU, but it does have a nice eSATA port there. It takes a full-size SSD, and it fits in the palm of your hand like this, which is really nice. And I think the previous owners were using Velcro, this big piece of Velcro, to mount it on the back of a computer monitor, because it doesn't look like it came with the option for a VESA mount, unless you created one, or maybe they had one where this thing slid down and attached. Anyway, let me know what you think in the description if you'd like to see this thing tested in some way. I'm going to install Windows XP on it, and I might even consider running Windows 10 versus XP just in another video to see how different operating systems perform on this thing. Maybe Linux, Windows XP, which is what this is meant to run, Windows 10. I wonder if even an early version of Mac OS would run on this. That might be interesting to try. So yeah, let me know what you'd like for me to try on here, and maybe I'll do it in another video. Till next time. Oh yeah, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you.